Hey, it's Professor Shoemaker. Now we're going to look at a feature of Excel called conditional formatting, and I'm going to do this in a couple of different videos. First, I'm going to show you the easier to understand formats, the easier to set up ones, and then I'll walk through a more complex couple of examples. So what is conditional formatting about? Well, fundamentally, it's making your spreadsheets easier to grasp. The way it works is with conditional formatting, we can have Excel change the format, the colors, the fonts, the sizes, bold, italics, anything like that. We can change the formatting of a cell based on its contents. And we're going to look at this spreadsheet here, and it's a set of work orders that each one of these is a work order to go do maintenance in a factory, and it has a work group, a description, the priority, the date that it was supposed to be done on, the estimated and actual hours. Now this is a small one, you can see it at a glance, but even then it's kind of hard to read. Which ones have priority to, for example? Well, you have to look through like so and see which ones. It would be nicer if the ones that are priority to stood out. So what we're going to do, and I've got a series of examples here that I'm going to walk through. In example one, we're going to set the green fill, and green text, anything that's priority to. Now I want to apply this conditional formatting to every value in the priority column, so I'm just going to select the range where I want the conditional formatting to apply. Then on the Home tab, I'm going to come up here and select conditional formatting. Now, there's a handful of different kinds of built-in formats that are a part of it, and I want to find stuff that is equal to priority to. So I will come over here in the highlight cell rules and select equal to. And I get this pop-up showing up, and it says cells that are equal to 2, if they are equal to 2, if that's true, then format it with, and there are some built-in colors here, green fill and green text. And I click on OK, click away so you can see the column easily. And you can see that all the priority 2s are formatted in green, and the 1s and 3s are left alone. What's important about this format is it's determined by the content of the cell. So if I take this cell and change it to a priority 3, the green goes away. If I put it on a 2, it comes back. If I take this cell down here that's a 1 and make it a 2, it's going to go green on me. So the formatting changes automatically based on the content of the cell. So let's go look at the next one, example 2, which is set yellow fill on any date in 2011. Well, I've got some dates in 2012 and some in 11, but I want to point out the ones in 11 by highlighting those. So the first thing to do is select the range of cells that I'm going to format, and then I come into conditional formatting, and let's see, highlight cells, rules, top bottom rules. It's actually here, and the best way of doing this is to handle ranges of dates is to use a between. So format cells that are between 1/1/2011 and 12/31/2011, and I think I was supposed to format them in yellow with the yellow fill, and I do that and click on OK. And now all the dates in 2011 are automatically highlighted, and of course if any of these dates change into 2011, they'll get highlighted in yellow also. So another example of formatting that changes automatically based on the content of the cell. One thing just to point out here, because it'll get important later, is with these formats that I've applied on these two columns, each cell is individually formatted based on its content. That this one turned yellow is only based on the content of this one cell. It's not considering any other cells, it's just looking at this one cell. Ditto with the 2 over here. Why that's important will show up in a minute when we get to the little more complicated examples. Okay, put a red fill on estimated hours above the average. Notice it just says red fill. So estimated hours above the average. Now if I select this row, or column rather, down here at the bottom, Excel will tell me my average is 26.42. I sure don't want to type that in though, because it could change anytime the numbers inside the column change. As it turns out, there is a built-in feature in the top bottom rules of above average. So I wanted to format this with the red fill. Now all I have in my baked in drop downs are, well, there we go, a light red fill. This will leave the font black, but the fill will be red. So everything above the average is now formatted in a red. And if I happen to add, and this is the way I do my own testing on something like this, let's take one of the cells. This one has a 24. I'm going to put a really big number in it, and it will drag the average up. It should become red, and then a few of the others won't anymore because they're no longer above the average. So when I type this in as 100, the 31, which used to be red, isn't anymore because it's now below my average. The average is what on the column now? 31.85. If I make this a really big number, then it's the only one now that's above the average. So I'm going to put it back to the way it was. So above the average is a built-in function, a built-in feature in the top-bottom rules. Let's go on to the next example. Put green bars on actual hours, green data bars. This is a way of sort of drawing a chart on the cheap. I'm going to select actual hours, and then come up here in conditional formatting and select data bars. And there's there's 6 different colors and 2 different flavors. You can have it with a gradient fill, meaning it's darker on the left. Here, let's actually do a gradient fill. It's darker on the left, and then the bar shades to a lighter color. This works well when you've got some variation and the numbers aren't too far apart. So, you know, these numbers vary from around 22 up to 49, and you can easily see that's the highest number in the set. Where the data bars don't work is where you've got an outlier. That is one number that is a huge amount different than all the rest. So suppose this cell was 9,999. Well, it gets a big blue bar, and the rest of them get zip because they're all so tiny compared to that. So the data bars work well when your set of numbers doesn't vary too much, and then you can see easily where the big ones are and where the little ones are and where the ones that are in the middle. So let's save that. Now, put green bars. Let's do exercise 5. Put arrow icons on priority with one being an up arrow. You can draw icons on your set. That's these things here. But let's select the group that I want to format first. So we'll select the whole priority column. Notice there's already a format on all the cells in that column, but that's okay to add another format on top of one that's already there. So I'll come up here and select icon sets, and I wanted the green arrow, so let's pick this one, and we'll select that. So what it does is it shows an icon. 3 is pointing up, 1s are pointing down, and 2s are just pointing sideways. So you can sort of at a glance see what's going on here. Now, there was a requirement in here, put icons with priority 1 pointing with an up arrow, and right now the priority 1s are pointing down, whereas the priority 3s are pointing up. You have to reverse that. To do that, for the first time, we're going to go in and edit an existing conditional format. So I select the range that I want to affect the format, come up into conditional formatting, and select Manage Rules down here at the bottom. When I click on that, up comes my icon set here. It also shows that in this range of cells, I've got the cell value equal to 2 for that green shading. And I want to modify this rule, so I'll click on the rule I want to change and select Edit Rule. Now, I have a lot of flexibility in here, but what I'm really interested in is just reversing the icon order. So if I click on that and click on OK, and then Apply or OK, now I have my up arrows on the 1 and the down arrows on 3. So once you create a rule, you can go in and tinker with it. Although a lot of times if you've messed up a rule, it's easiest just to delete it and put it back on. So for example, in this cell range, suppose I wanted to get rid of the green bars where priority is 2. I can come in here to Manage Rules, select that rule, and just delete it. And now it's gone. Okay, let's put it back real quickly because I do want that there equal to 2, right? And it was a green. So just that quickly I put it back on. This is one of those things in Excel where when you've made a mistake, it's easier just to delete it and recreate it rather than try and repair it. So one more example in this video, I think. Highlight with bold font any work order that contains the word inspect. So if we look at the descriptions of the work orders here, someplace in here there are some that are involved with inspection. Has the word inspect in it. I'm sure there are others here, but you can see how hard it is to find them. What I want to do is highlight in bold any work order that has the word inspect in it anywhere. So I select my range, come on up to conditional formatting, highlight cells rule, text that contains. So I type in the word inspect. And it's highlighting them in red, but I want to just do the font in bold. Well, that's not one of our pre-selected types here, so this time I'm going to select custom format. And up pops this box, and all I have to do is go in and select bold on the font, click on OK, and then OK. And now any work order that has the word inspect in it anywhere will get formatted in a bold, and that stands. And if I type in here and inspect like that, now it will go bold. So they're very automatic. Now this video was about using conditional formatting using these built-in rules here with data bars and icons and that kind of stuff. Personally, by the way, I never use color scales because I think they would be completely unusable to someone who's colorblind. So I just don't use them at all. Now, in the next video, I'll go on and show you the conditional formats where you need to use a formula.